ISB 2020, if it is fully implemented there. But we should initiate with the restricted implementation. So that is my opinion. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor. Now, may I request Professor Prasad from IIT Madras, if you are here?
Yeah.
Sir,
thank you.
please go ahead, sir. You are
yeah.
audible. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Among the eminent speakers, Professor Virendra Tiwari ji, Professor Uday Desai ji, and also Professor Naveen ji, they have expressed beautifully some of the major concerns. I think there are too many entry and too many exits are quite, kind of scary, at least from the point of view of the IIT system. And also our IITs and NITs, the senates are supreme. So it's very important that we may have to get it past the senates. So it is a very good idea by Professor Naveen ji that if there is a pilot run, it will be certainly highly beneficial. I agree with that kind of a thinking, so that learning can be kind of extrapolated to a much larger platform, and some of the concerns, and maybe similar to what we have. A semester abroad kind of thing, maybe a semester in other IIT can be facilitated by most IITs and institutes of national importance. And it will be really nice if we sort of, to start with, facilitate students to move around within the country, wherein their own personal interests are also taken care. A student who is very Deshbhakt can do a lot more Deshbhakti oriented kind of work. Go to places like remote places and help the rural society. And then a student who is more keen towards learning machine learning or 5G, 6G kind of technology, the kind of high-end platforms, they can move to places where they are interested on a competitive basis. It can also be based on exchange facilitated by the individual IITs and IITs. I think because my presence in this panel is as a former GATE chairman from IIT Madras. So in that spirit, you may have to go to NCB where, if you want certain parts of the GATE exam to be structured in a certain way, where you want lateral entry to be facilitated, that certainly is not an easy task in the current setup. I fully agree with Professor Desai ji. It's not that easy compared to the way, flexible should have some meaning in terms of level of scare that we are offering. That's my fear factor. So maybe we may be looking at the complete integration. If there is some pilot run, it is a really brilliant thought process. I agree with the panelists fully, and I'm with their thinking. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor. So, in fact, the quantum of work and the magnitude of the work which the FFE is promising and proposing are magnificently high. And then that is the reason that we have started with this brainstorming session. It will go on, and then few of the friends have also suggested that there should be a similar thing from the industry side. So we'll have a part 2 session very soon in coming future, which will be exclusively inviting the industry people, so that what is their expectation. And because finally these people have to go to the job market, and somebody who is giving and the employer, they should also have their own words into this. Now, moving ahead, I would like to request Professor Ramana, if you are here. Professor Ramana from NIT Warangal.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, sir. So, namaskar, sir. If you can please give your deliberation regarding the. Yeah, you are audible, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I listened to the other panelists, and of course, they have raised very valid points. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Recommendation of the panelists are quite fine, but I'm not really sure how much of it is really immediately implementable. For example, flexibility and quality, whether the students can pick the teachers and the timings, whether the students needs and interest by choosing courses which they want. Is it possible so easily? Whether the students can design their own degrees. So all these things are still not very clear. But as suggested by the earlier panelists also, if you have a pilot run, then we know what are the difficulties in implementation. Then we can actually make it easily expandable to large scale of students. So let maybe take from each institutes 2 or 3 students and then run this course to them, and probably we'll be coming out with the difficulties in implementation. Then we can finalize and formalize the rules and regulations. Another thing that actually has gone into the whole system is, the way, of course, we have now tried to formalize what we have already done. But our NIT Warangal, in fact, we have somebody said, after 1 year, whether the degree or is it really useful. So what we have done at NIT Warangal is, after first year of study, we are giving a 1 year certificate program on engineering. But we find, we believe that very few people will be there who would like to go out of 1 year. After 2 years of study, maybe diploma we will be able to give. And after 3 years, advanced diploma. So these are some of the things that we have started implementing. But I'm not really sure how this is going to really work out in the long run. But yes, we have started implementing minors and majors. So the selection of courses from different institutes, we already have the academic bank of credits voted by the government of India. So similarly, this is very similar to that. And in fact, the selection of students should be based on the national level screening test for this, because we have to see really whether students can complete these courses, and what are the employment opportunities for these students, and at the end of the program, how they will be actually responding to the how the employability market will accept them is an issue. So these are some of the concerns that I have actually. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Professor Ramana. In fact, this suggestion which you have given, we have also gathered such type of valuable suggestion from all my experts, and then we'll be going to tackle one by one, and we will also circulate among that what is the possible solution which has been given by other experts. Now, going ahead, I would like to request Professor Bishop Prashad Jain ji. Professor Bishop, if you are here. Jain, Professor Jain. Okay. Now, I would like to request Dr. Vijay Chaurasia from IIIT Allahabad.
Thank you, Professor Pritish, for giving me opportunity to express my thoughts on this new initiative of IIIT Allahabad. Honorable Professor P. Nagabhushan sir, Director IIIT Allahabad, Professor Nitesh Purohit, other panel members, esteemed guests, which are present online, and my colleagues. So first of all, let me put my thoughts that what I'm thinking about this NAP. So this is going to be the model for future education. And with the FAP, like few of the concerns which are raised in this session, we already received these concerns earlier as well. And we are focusing on this concern and coming up with the solution. So this NAP is not only giving student opportunity to learn from different academic environment, but this NAP or FAP will also give the students a platform where cultures can also be exchanged. So a student studying in various parts of the country will naturally learn the culture, the food habits, and it will inculcate diversity in the student. And this will be very useful for overall professional development. We are also thinking about adding some of the foreign language courses. So that will make the candidate ready for going to the different part of the world and give it services. Most important feature of this FAP program will be that we are initially creating all the syllabuses and all the study materials in 2 languages, primarily Hindi and English. So this indeed will give opportunity to the people who are not so fluent in the English language. Like most of our state boards are the medium of teaching is Hindi. So those students, when they come to, first of all, they find it very difficult to join IITs or NITs because, or triple ITs, because all the entrance examination, it becomes very difficult for them to learn the concept that they have learned in Hindi and then give the test and prepare for the test in English. So that is one of the biggest injustice for those students who studied, their medium of study was Hindi throughout, up to 12th standard. So we can have a uniform, separate admission exam for FAP program, and we can fix up the subjects, the subject course curriculum, and the length and breadth of the subject, and that should be acceptable by all the consortium members. And that way it will become a kind of seamless transition of a student from one place to other place. So this, the two suggestion, like uniform selection process, medium of study, and the same course content at different universities will give a smooth transition of the student when he is willing to join from one place to other. Now, some of the other questions which are raised here, so it is difficult to take up all these issues at the moment. So my thought is that we should take it up. Let us, as others suggested, let us have a pilot run, and then we can see pros and cons of this program, and then modify it according to the need of the country. So thank you all for your patient hearing.
Time is very limited. So can I have a quick call to Professor Nitesh? So Nitesh is one of the person who has started this and conceptualized along with Professor P. Nagbhushan. So we have knowingly kept both the name to the last so that they can have a concluding remark. So I would like to request Professor Nitesh, please.
Thank you, Pratish. Honorable Director IIIT Allahabad, who is chairing the session. Honorable Director IIT Kharagpur, directors of other eminent institutes, Professor Desai, Professor Prasad, and all other experts who have joined this particular session, who have shared their thoughts. And I have been overwhelmed by noting the views of different experts in last 4 sessions. We started the discussion on various small themes, and I am truly happy that when I am going to prepare the compilation of this, then you will see that whatever we have circulated earlier, there is a drastic different version, and I am really happy about it. The inputs which I received from various experts, these are really, really great, and I am sure that it is going to uplift the current proposal, what I circulated earlier. In this particular panel, I would like to point out on 2-3 inputs which have been given by different experts. And I guess that some kind of clarification is required on 2-3 aspects. One of the point which was told that keeping a 8-year norm is not good, particularly if we are giving the exit as a PhD, then it cannot be time bound. And I really agree to this particular issue, and I would like to submit the clarification that this 8-year for the PhD is the minimum time frame that we are saying. And if you just see the curriculum proposed, then we are talking about the research credits, which are compulsorily required to be earned for earning the PhD, and even for the MTech as well. So one of the major concern is something about the entry mechanism. And for this as well, at this early stage, I am of the opinion we should not do any change in the entry mechanism. Whichever institute is currently taking the entry in whichever mode, this is something which should continue. And third one, which even Professor Tiwari has also given an example, Professor Desai has given an example, sorry, that some student from the from comparatively lower rated institute reach to the top rated institute, then he cannot perform as per the peers. And I agree to this viewpoint. This is right. But let me clarify that the transition mechanism that we are proposing, there are rare chances that at single step someone can jump from this bottom to the top. There are hierarchies, and the way that we are thinking of, it will be there. And yes, it has to be evolved. Something is there, but yes, when we all sit together, there will be circular different drafts. We know we all are writing the research papers. The first draft is usually very having the just native ideas, but when we have multiple iterations over the same manuscript, the time it is published, it is a completely different version. And this is something I'm expecting with this particular proposal of the flexible academic program. I have just submitted a first draft of the manuscript to you all eminent reviewers, and I am looking forward for the review comments and suggestions. And definitely our team at IIIT Allahabad, I must say that we have very, very strong team of youngsters. We are comparatively having young age, and our students, our faculty members are really working together, and we will definitely be able to incorporate all the sessions. And we are having the technology as well. So whatever we are recording here, we will convert it into the text using the technology, and then we will revert. So over the 2, 3, 4 iterations, I guess that we will be able to upgrade. We will be able to address all the concerns raised by various speakers about the administrative model. In fact, the representative of the Niti Aayog DDG has expressed some very relevant points, and I noted it down, and I must say these are really great inputs which have been received. So we are working on it. One particular point, actually, Professor Prasad may recall, we have been discussing. In fact, at one point of time, we have been working together for trying to see if some kind of compliance can be there at the MTech entry level. He was handling the COAP portal, and I was part of the CCMT committee, and we have several meetings together, and that's why I know he's a very thorough gentleman, very intelligent person who has innovative thoughts. So we have been discussing in one particular aspect. Professor Prasad may give more light on this, but I submitted a suggestion to him, and the suggestion was this, that we conduct GATE every year, and GATE is usually an exam which has the entire engineering syllabus, or more or less you can say it is a standard curriculum which is there for the Indian students, irrespective of whichever university you are studying. So one way out, what we have been thinking of, can we divide the GATE curriculum into different parts, particularly 4 parts. So part 1 will have only those subjects which are usually more or less taught in the first year of the engineering programs, and similarly 2nd, 3rd, and 4th part. And when we evaluate and prepare the result for the GATE, can we have the result in these different parts? So if we are having this national level examination and the national level performance is available to us, just like it become equivalent of JOSA or the that our JEE Mains or JEE Advanced, something in some sense, there is some merit which has been created after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and so. So this may be one of the parameter, and there must be a little more parameters. So these are the ways actually we have been talking online and offline. And I urge you that with this, kindly consider this as a triggering point only. And I request all that flexibility is something more or less in all the panel, all the experts accepted this thought that flexibility is required to be introduced. We have to find the ways such that the resources of this nation can be optimally utilized. So if any seat is going vacant at any institutes of national importance, then this is a loss to the nation. And we need to find a mechanism. So if we have to find a mechanism for this thing, we need to also ensure that it should be fair. So with this thought, I am handing over to the Professor Nagabhushan sir, Director IIIT Allahabad, who has been a guiding force to us, who has given us several thoughts, and he is the key person in giving some shape to the raw thoughts which are being illustrated in this proposal. So over to you, sir. Please enlighten us. Thank you.
Expert panelists in the evening, Professor Nitish Purohit and his colleagues. Good evening to all of you. This particular panel was very mind-blowing, to be very precise, and was able to get into the real problems. Professor U.B. Desai's concern, Director Kharagpur's concerns, and Professor from IIT Chennai's concerns are very, very valid. In fact, the moment we just open up the Pandora's box that there is flexibility, surely second tier IIT students would love to take the courses only in the first tier IIT. That has got to be understood. And then NITs, all students at NITs, all students at IIITs would love to find a slot to take the courses in IITs, because a certification for them that they have done a course at IIT could probably, they think, would be very valid for their lifetime. And that's exactly what is going to happen. In other words, the movement of a candidate would be from a lower potential institution into a higher potential institution, and surely it causes an imbalance. When I just went into Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, in those days there was a very interesting opening remark. Whoever is entering Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, is surely the topper of your respective places. Every topper of the respective place has entered into Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, but after having entered, it is very difficult for everybody to retain the top position at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, which was very credibly expressed by U.B. Desai, that somebody even trying to get a 6.5 grade, although he might have been getting 9.5 or 9.8 in his institution, would become very difficult, which is really a challenging problem to be addressed. But however, let us resolve the problem. Let us get into the problem step by step. Question number one is the introduction and practicing of flexibility as advocated by National Education Policy. I'm very positive that the National Education Policy picked up the flexibility that IITs have been practicing, that even the Birla Institutes are practicing, and that the Indian Institute of Science is practicing. For most of us, NEP need not be the trendsetter as far as flexibility is concerned, because most of us have already been into the business of flexibility. Now the question is, can this flexibility go to a little higher level? As director of IIT Kharagpur mentioned, the NEP was also a cause for us to trigger providing more flexibility within our own system, and that is where the flexibility has been gaining a better momentum. Well, then that basically reduces the problem to the following, that the institution should not be conservative to tell that if a candidate has got to become a graduate, electronics graduate, he has got to study 80% to 90% only electronic subject. That's the conservative approach has got to come down. Surely, the one which happens with the Western world, the Western universities perhaps should be followed. Like majority has got to be in electronics, the majoring has got to be in electronics, and the remaining subjects have got to be as flexible as possible, including taking up the credits in swimming, including taking up the credits in music or whatever the candidate would feel like. Therefore, this is the type of flexibility. So flexibility at the institutional level has got to be thought of. Then from the institution, it has got to rise to the level of not intra-institutional flexibility, inter-institutional flexibility, which already has been practiced by most of the IITs. Well, then it is practiced in some of the IIITs also. We do allow our candidate to go for one semester at most outside and come back. Okay, that's what. So in out of 160 credits, one has got to clearly define how many credits could be flexibly picked up from other institutions. So that has got to be clearly defined. It is not that out of 160 credits of BTech program, the flexibly one would pick up 100 credits from outside and still claim to have a degree from IIIT Allahabad, which is also incorrect. So a person entering into some, as Professor UB Desai very categorically mentioned, would enter into one of the typical young IIITs and would do only 30 to 40 credits in that institute, and the remaining 120 credits he would pick up from all remaining institutions and would still claim to have a degree from the institution where he has joined is not understandable at all, and that practice should be curbed. It is not a right practice at all. Therefore, there has got to be a limit defined, very, very, very practically defined, that how many credits one could pick up. Now, if one goes outside for, getting a credit advantage, then that entire semester, we have got to be clear that he will not be available in the host institution. Therefore, the guest institution should be ready to accommodate this candidate for the maximum number of credits that could be earned in that particular semester, which means minimum, let us say 12 credits, maximum up to 20 credits, the candidate should be able to register in the institution other than this institution, and he has got to be away from for that particular one semester. Then the remaining logistics have got to be thought of. The remaining administrative logistics have got to be clearly thought of. None of us are looking into the administrative aspects, because the institution, the host institution, will collect the tuition fees and we send them for a credit transfer to the other institution. Then we should make the transfer, the proportionate transfer of the tuition fees to that guest institution also. So the flexibility at the first level should be within the institution, then the inter-institutional flexibility. But this type of flexibility, the flexible academic program, which Professor Nitish Purohit is trying to promote, has got to be thought entirely differently. It should not be thought of admitting a candidate at IIT Kharagpur and allowing him to enjoy the maximum flexible academic system. It should not be thought of that a candidate would join IIT Kanpur or a candidate would join IIIT Allahabad. Therefore, there has got to be entirely a different mechanism which has got to be thought of. So we have got to think of the existence of some virtual institution, which now Nitish Purohit, to begin with, he had called it as consortium of institutions. So the admission will be into the consortium, or admission of a candidate will be into a virtual institution. Why should we call this as a virtual institution? This is called a virtual institution because this institution shall not offer any academic programs by itself. It shall not design any academic programs by itself. It shall not recruit teachers. It shall not recruit teachers by itself, but it shall depend upon all the faculty members of the participating institutions for its academic program. Therefore, the virtual institution, call it whatever may be, like Honorable Vice Chancellor of Gujarat Technological University mentioned that getting the tag of a virtual institution at parliament level could be difficult. You call it as consortium, you call it as a lead institution, you call it as the organizing institution, or you call it as a remote institution which would do this activity. But then this virtual institution does not create its own academic or research infrastructure. To that extent, it is virtual. It has got to make use of the resources available, in which case the participating institution should clearly tell so much of academic infrastructure we can share with this virtual institution. So that's the quantum of academic infrastructure. It could be research infrastructure, it could be teaching infrastructure, it could be even hostel infrastructure when the students would be there in that particular semester. All these things have got to be clearly defined and should be shared. This is the first level. What is this virtual institution going to do? Virtual institution is going to do the real coordination activity. Though it is a virtual institution, the reality of this virtual institution is in coordinating. The real coordination, the academic administration part has got to be taken over by this virtual institution, which naturally implies transportation of learners. It has got to move the learners from one institution to the other institution. That it has got to do, and then assign the learners with the specific institutes and the courses. The assignment problem has got to be solved. This is a very difficult non-deterministic polynomial problem, very hard non-deterministic problem, because the students are enrolled into the virtual institution. Surely they are not the students of any NIT, they are not the students of any IIIT, they are not the students of any IIT, but they come from that system. I shall come a little later to the greater details of how this could be made operational. But anyhow, transporting the students through these institutes and assigning them, solving the assignment problem of allocating the courses to them, and still maintaining to see that they have completed required number of credits in order to get an electronics degree, in order to get a computer science degree, in order to get an information technology degree. These are the things which have got to be coordinated by this virtual institution. Having said that, the most important point is why anybody would join IIT Kharagpur, or why anybody would join IIT Chennai. Well, one point is naturally, which is only on the book. Professor U.B. Desai should also accept this point. This point that I am a student at IIT is this point which is going to be on the book is for good knowledge, encapsulation or good knowledge enhancement, which is secondary. The primary point is naturally the tag of IIT, number one. Number two, the placement. A very high level placement. In the first page of the newspaper, if it can tell that IIT's 62 candidates of IIT Delhi are getting 1 crore job, that is the attraction which has got to be understood. And now, therefore, these students, who are coming under the virtual institution, who are not the direct student of any of these institutions, cannot participate in the campus placement activity of any institution. No institution shall take the responsibility of campus placement of these particular students unless one or two of these candidates are extremely brilliant, and that particular IIT or particular institution would be very keen on this candidate in absorbing him as a PhD candidate, except that the other way around, getting them campus placed by these institutions should not be the prerogative of these institutions. This has got to be understood very clearly. Government of India also should have got to understand this particular point clearly. And now the coordinating virtual institutions' responsibility is to have the campus placement also. So campus placement should be coordinated by the virtual institution, because these candidates belong to the virtual institutions. However, they get transported through several other institutions. That has got to be understood. Now, who is going to award the degrees? So our degree has got to be awarded by the consortium, degree has got to be awarded by this remote institution, degree has got to be awarded by this virtual institution or an open institution, call it by whatever the name. And now, if we are concentrating on the flow, if we are focusing on the flow of these candidates through only INEs, even this virtual institution by default has got to be an institution of national importance only. Now this virtual institution at one end has got to cater to the mobility of the students only amongst IITs, because let us categorically understand that the students who are going to join IITs are with the joint, not only the JEE, but also with the advanced examination. Therefore, the no IIT straight away would be preferring to take a candidate only with a JEE. So that has got to be understood. And similarly in NITs and IITs, NITs and IIITs, the candidates who would join would be with joint entrance examination. Therefore, they will not be ready to accept the candidates who would have completed the common entrance test at the state level to enter into their institution, which has got to be understood. Therefore, one has got to think of three bubbles. The virtual institution should think of three bubbles. One bubble for mobility of the students through IITs. Another bubble has got to be for the students' mobility through IITs and NITs. And another bubble is for ICERs, ISRO institutions and other INEs. And there can be an interface between, a rare interface between all these institutions, across all these institutions for certain courses not exceeding some particular limit, particularly one semester or not more than 2 semesters in a 8-semester scheme. So this has got to be thought of. So the virtual institution shall provide all this interface, and it is called virtual because academy is virtual in this institution. Coordination and administration is real by this virtual institution, or call it a consortium. Awarding the degrees, as I mentioned, has got to be the job of this consortium, or has got to be the job of this coordinating institution. Enabling the learners with extra co-curricular activities. This has got to be done by this virtual institution. They cannot. These students, incidentally, during that semester, if there is any festival which is happening in that institution, can probably be participating, but they have got to have their own extracurricular activities. These extracurricular activities have got to be planned by the virtual institution only. So placement enabling, extracurricular enabling, everything has got to be done by the virtual institution. However, what is more important and what is very relevant, what is very necessary is to provide the proper counseling for the transportation of these candidates, for the movement of these candidates across the institution. Counseling is the most important, and here all faculty members of all participating institutions should become the counselors. So this is the point where we should think of flexibility at a higher level. So participating institutions should be allowed to follow their own academic practices. Whatever they have been doing, whatever they have done, whatever have been their design, they would be just sharing that. So the participating institution shall not be compelled to design any specific course for these mobile students, any different course for the, whatever has been there, it has got to be shared. Therefore, the participating institution should be able to tell, in the odd semester I can share so much, and in the even semester I can share so much, and additionally I can take so many students. That's all, additionally. And then the participating institution should definitely be not compelled to design any new specific courses only for these candidates, and the participating institution should not be compelled to change their graded pattern, to change their credit pattern or grading pattern, and it is the virtual institution which has got to work out all this interface. So this is where the administration has got to be taken over by the consortium, and now student has to get joined to the consortium. Now look at this. Now, when it comes to the bubble of IITs, which candidate will join this? The candidates who join this bubble would surely be those candidates who could not get into any of the physical IITs. Therefore, he is getting into virtual IIT balloon. Similarly, even IIITs or NITs, anyone who could not get into the physical NIT or who could not get into any physically existing IIIT, naturally his rank order would be far lower than any of the NIT will be getting into this bubble, hoping that he can traverse through these institutions. So flexibility at one end is very interesting point, but the flexibility not to spoil the spirit of academy has got to be very thoroughly be concerned. So this is how I would love to look at flexibility. One, flexibility at the institution level. Two, the flexibility at the institution level is possible if we overcome our intrinsic property of being very conservative, that one has got to be strongly electronics, one has got to be strongly computer science, one has got to be strongly mechanical engineering. So that conservative aspect has got to be overcome. Three, then flexibility at the inter-institutional level, which has got to be operationalized through the MOUs, through the understanding. And when we transport our candidate for the entire one semester, we should be aware that that institution should accommodate him for the entire semester. Four, the real flexible system where a virtual institution will coordinate, taking the advantage of academic infrastructure available, which all these institutions will agree to share. So thank you very much for sharing, for allowing me to present my views. And thank you very much for such a patient hearing. Thank you very much.
So thank you, sir. I hope that Professor Nagbhushan has already touched the tone set for the concluding session. And since Professor Desai, Professor Tiwari, and other people are already listening. So before just giving the final concluding remark, do you have anything to say, Professor Desai?
No, I think this is a good initiative that you have started, but I think a lot more thought is required, and when you have to.
Yeah, certainly. So
because,
this is
once
actually the
some
first.
ideas, a lot of ideas have come. This is a very complex issue also. It is not that simple, because finally we have to look at what service and what positive benefit that we are imparting to the students in a very comprehensive manner. I think that has to, because student has to be at the apex in this particular model. And that's why I think there have to be local discussions also within institutes. I think Professor Patnaik from IIT Madras mentioned, it's like the senates are supreme in IITs, and senates have to take it up. They have to discuss some of these things. So I think this is a good beginning, and I certainly compliment and congratulate IIT Allahabad, the director of IIT Allahabad, and the whole team led by you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. This is, as you know, this is a beta version, and which need a lot of update and patchwork here. So to make the thing much more robust. Now, Professor Tiwari, if you have something to put.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I think I was very keenly listening to what Dr. Nagbhushan was telling. I think if the report with all its important points are sent to the different directors, and they can discuss this consortium institutions as well as the roles of fees collection, infrastructure, logistics, and how best we can accommodate, I think, the concerns of lower students from locations and high grade students. It will be better that the senates debate and come out with a different model, or a model which suits this consortium of institutions. That will be better.
So we'll certainly come with a final draft kind of thing where we'll try to summarize each and everything which has been told and deliberated across these 2 days. And then we'll be requesting all our panelists to have a thorough discussion and rebuttal back so that we can go for the next session. Now, in the meantime, can I take this leverage to call Professor Patnaik from IIT Madras, if you have something to add? Because one of the points raised by you has been a bit more elaborated by Professor Purohit and Professor Nagbhushan. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I gave an answer, whatever Professor Purohit ji has raised already, because there is something called National Coordination Board by the IIT directors who will be governing the GATE administration process. They are at the apex of that. The GATE chairmen are under the control of the directors of the institutes called NCB, National Coordination Board. And maybe the way you want the structuring to be done perhaps can be forwarded to the GATE organizing chairperson they can be debating this issue at different levels. Keeping that examination part aside, I think kudos to IIT Allahabad for conducting this, eminent thought process or triggering, how to align ourselves along with the national education policy. The thinking is really brilliant, but too much of flexibility, I'm a little bit afraid to start with, because it should not lead to some kind of a chaos. What's happening to the student? Where is the student? How is the student? Who takes responsibility? If who can indemnify whom, and these kind of things, and lots of category related issues also would pop up in the process of lateral entries, lateral exits. I'm emphasizing that, because this is another fear factor that every institute has to be very careful about, because we also have to take care of all the levels of students independent of their background. It's also, sort of in some way, I would simply say that certainly a lot of thought needs to be given. One initial trigger can be a semester exchange in another NIT, IIT kind of, on a one-to-one basis, or on a can be facilitated. A low ranked institute, which is let us say NIT X somewhere in, in some part of the country, can get a chance also to have a feel factor of some higher level institute for a semester exchange kind of a program. Perhaps that can be a motivation for some bright student to go for a semester to places like IIT Kharagpur or IIT Chennai or IIT Kanpur or IIT Bombay, for example. And they can also, sort of contribute. And at the same time, those who are really keen on helping the society based on their liking can also move to places like NIT Meghalaya from IIT Madras. Why not? I mean, help some of the rural society there, and then, come back. And then I think we should facilitate that one semester exchange, if that can be facilitated, and credit transfer automatically comes into picture, not the GPA transfer. Credit transfer alone can be brought into picture, and GPA need not be transferred. Very similar to our semester abroad kind of program. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I'll
that's-
stop here. Yeah.
That's an excellent idea. GPI transfer would be very dangerous. Credit transfer could be possible.
Exactly.
Of course, now this is only flexibility at the inter-institution level. The
Yes.
flexibility what NEP is advocating has got to be thought of entirely different. And I'm sure Nitish Purohit and team has got to put in a lot more work to think about this, which is a totally a different job. We cannot disturb any of the existing IITs or any institutions. To take the students and to migrate them through all the several institutions, we have got to have a different.
Sir,
So
I
the other
congratulate your
important point,
institute.
all of us were referring to this
Sir, I
multiple entry
congratulate
and
your
multiple
institute
exit.
and, for this
So
eminent
the
effort.
candidate has got to enter into the system at the formal level, at the first year BTech level, or at the first year master's degree level, MTech level, or at the first year PhD level. The entry has got to be clearly formal, but not with the expressed intention to come out with a certification, to come out with a diploma. His intention is to complete minimum BTech, minimum MTech, minimum PhD. That is the intention. But in case the candidate is not able to really do it, then what has got to be done should be left to the institution to decide upon, depending upon the amounts of credits he has already earned, what sort of certification could be given. But then regarding the job, this we cannot define. One cannot easily define, equate what has got to be the job level for the certificate or the type of program which can happen. Incidentally, at IIIT Allahabad, after third year, luckily we can definitely give away a BSc degree in computer science or BSc degree in electronics, because that is existing in a university system after 3 years. That one can do. But at the end of second year, what sort of certification has got to be issued has got to be really thought of. It just should be only the certification indicating the number of credits completed and possibly the grades he has got, he has earned. But the admission should not be with the intended intention of getting out with a diploma or getting out with a BSc. The intention has got to be to complete a BTech degree, has got to be to complete a MTech degree. And the flexibility is a candidate who joins a BTech degree can roll into a dual MTech program or can roll into an integrated MTech program. That has got to be the onward flexibility which should be available. So the formal admission point has got to be the formal entry point, the first year, the respective first years. That has got to be done at the beginning. Over time, when we mature, we can think of what process has got to be thought of to bring a candidate directly at an intermediate level. However, he has got to enter at some formal point itself. Okay.
Sir, so a lot many discussion has been done in last 2 days and to summarizing the thing in over the 5 panels. So me and my team will do what, like in coming few days, we'll try to take out all the things which have been expressed by our experts and colleagues. We'll try to also give the exact quote mark which has been given by the thing, and we'll create a compiler report, a concise and report, and then we'll send to all the stakeholders so that the next step of discussion may initiate. So the whole idea of starting this is that there should be some point of starting so that there will be thorough discussion on that. So with that, I'm happy to announce that this 5 panels of this particular conference is going to be over now. Now, the organizer has requested me to give a special request to Professor Tiwari, Professor Desai, and Professor Patwardhan ji, if you can please join us around 6 o'clock just for a few minutes, like 20 minutes or so, just for the closing ceremony. Otherwise, the panel discussion is over. We are in the process of making the minutes and then finalizing the thing. So Desai sir, Tiwari sir, Patwardhan ji, it is possible that 6 o'clock you can give some time?
Yeah, so 6,
Tiwari
6
sir,
to
please.
6:30, 6 to 6:30 sounds okay to you?
Yeah, Professor Tiwari, you are actually not audible. Can you be a bit more louder?
No, this is Desai. What I was asking is, I'm keeping the slot open from 6
Hello.
p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Will that be fine, sir?
6 to 6:30, sir. 6 to 6:30.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
That just I wanted to know, is it the same link that will there, or you are going to use a different link?
Sir, no. 6 o'clock will start and we will wind up by 6:30.
So the link, the
Or-
connecting link,
Link.
what you were asking, the WebEx link that we used just now to connect, will the same WebEx link work?
Yes, sir. This is the same link.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that is fine.
Good.
Fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
What
you.
about Professor Patnaik?
You want me to join as well? No problem. I can join.
Yeah, you can